The sun had barely risen over the island of Cebu when 9-year-old Althea Cruz stepped onto the tiny balcony of her family's modest house, clutching the same microphone she'd been holding since she was 5. It was scratched, a bit bent at the edges, and the wire covering had peeled in places. But to her, it wasn't just a microphone. It was a promise, one she made to herself after her father left, promising she would make her voice strong enough to reach him, wherever he was. Her mom always told her to let go of that hope, not because she was hard or unloving, but because she didn't want her daughter to hurt anymore. But Althea believed in impossible things. She believed her voice could carry across oceans. She believed one song could change everything. That morning, she was practicing the same song she practiced every day for months, Shallow. She heard it once on the radio, and it gripped her in a way she couldn't explain. The chorus felt like a cry from deep inside her chest. The run on, I'm off the deep end, felt like something she had said 1,000 times before, even if she didn't understand the world the way grown-ups did. When she sang it, she felt like she wasn't just a little girl in Cebu. She felt like a girl who mattered. Her voice rose with the warm breeze rolling over the rooftops. Even the neighbor's rooster seemed to quiet down as she hit the song's gentle first notes and let the sound echo into the world. Inside the small kitchen, her mother, Liza, listened while preparing instant coffee. She closed her eyes and breathed in the fragile beauty of her daughter's voice. It wasn't just beautiful, it was honest, raw. It carried sadness that no 9-year-old should ever have known, but also hope so powerful it made anyone listening believe in something again. "Ma," Althea called out, stepping inside. Her mom turned. "Yes, love, today is the video call, right?" Liza hesitated, her heart tightening. The AGT online pre-audition, something she submitted secretly, recording Althea after a typhoon knocked out power for half the city. She'd sung, Shallow, in the dark with only a candle lighting her face. It became the most haunting thing Liza had ever witnessed. "Yes," her mom answered softly. "Today." Althea's eyes widened. "Do you think they'll like me?" Liza smiled, brushing a strand of hair from her daughter's cheek. "They'll love you. How could they not?" 2 hours later, as the small house buzzed with nervous energy, they received the email. Not just approval, not just a callback. They invited her to Los Angeles. It felt like the world stopped breathing. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Then Althea's eyes filled, and her small hands trembled as she held the phone. "Ma, does this mean I can really go? Like, really?" Liza pulled her into her arms. "Yes, Anik, you're going to America." Tears spilled down both their faces, soaking into each other's clothes. They didn't have the money, not really. Their savings were tiny, but friends helped. Relatives pitched in. A local church held a fundraiser. A barangay captain even donated airline miles. Cebu had many struggles, but when one of their children had a dream, the island lifted her together. By the time they boarded the plane, the whole neighborhood had come to send her off, holding banners that said, "Go Althea." And, Cebu proud, her teacher hugged her for so long she had to be gently pulled away. The plane ride was the longest, most surreal thing she had ever experienced. She pressed her face to the window the entire time, watching fluffy clouds drift by like floating cotton islands. Her mom squeezed her hand during turbulence. Althea squeezed back harder every time. Landing in Los Angeles was like stepping into another universe, huge buildings, endless lights, roads wide enough to fit their entire barangay. Her eyes never stopped moving. She clung to her mother like the city might swallow her whole. The morning of the audition arrived with both excitement and fear. In their cheap hotel room, Althea sat on the bed inhaling deeply as her mom gently braided her hair. She wore a simple white dress they bought secondhand at a thrift store. It wasn't fancy, but on her, with her bright eyes and small trembling smile, it looked perfect. "Ready, baby?" her mom asked. "I'm scared," she whispered. Liza knelt in front of her. "You know what to do when you're scared." "What?" "Sing anyway." They smiled at each other, and with that, they left for the theater. The AGT building was massive, buzzing with energy. Contestants rushed everywhere, dancers stretching, singers humming scales, magicians dropping cards, comedians pacing in circles muttering jokes. Althea watched them like she was inside a movie. When she stepped into the backstage holding area, a producer approached her, crouched so they'd be eye level, and asked, "Hey sweetheart, what's your name?" I'm Althea. I'm 9 years old. I'm from Cebu, Philippines." The producer's eyebrows lifted. 9. Wow. And what are you singing today?" Shallow, she whispered. The producer smiled gently. That's a big song for a little girl. Althea swallowed hard. I know. Do you think you can do it justice? He asked. She held her breath for a long moment. Then she said something he didn't expect. I'm small, but my heart isn't. The producer blinked, and then grinned. Well, now I'm excited to hear you. Seconds that felt like hours passed. Cameras rolled, lights glowed, crew members whispered instructions, contestants prayed, breathed deeply, panicked quietly. Althea clutched her mother's hand the entire time. Then the stage manager called her number. Contestant 3187, Althea from Cebu. Her heart plummeted. Her mom kissed her forehead. Go show them who you are. And then, she was walking onto the stage of America's Got Talent. The roar of the audience hit her like a wave. Bright lights blinded her for a moment. She stared at the panel. Howie, Heidi, Sophia, and Simon Cowell. The Simon Cowell, the man she saw on YouTube almost daily, the man whose reactions she memorized, the man she dreamed of impressing one day. Her legs trembled. He stared back at her, eyebrows raised slightly. Hello, he said. What's your name? She swallowed. I'm Althea. I'm 9 years old. I'm from Cebu, in the Philippines. A long way from home, Simon said. Are you nervous? She nodded. A little. You don't have to be, Simon said in an unusually gentle tone. We're all rooting for you. The audience let out an ah, and the little girl blushed. What will you be singing? Simon asked. Shallow, she answered. He paused. Shallow. The Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper song. Yes, she said softly. He blinked. That's a very big song. She hesitated, then repeated the line she told the producer backstage. I'm small, but my heart isn't. The audience exploded with cheers. Simon actually smiled, genuinely. Well, I can't wait to hear this. The music started. The stage lights dimmed to a soft blue. A single spotlight fell over her tiny frame. She closed her eyes. Then she opened them, and she wasn't scared anymore. Her first note floated into the theater like a warm whisper. It didn't sound like a child singing. It sounded like a soul unfolding. The softness, the emotion, the clarity, it stunned the audience instantly. A hush spread through the crowd. Even the judges leaned forward. She sang the opening verse with such delicate vulnerability that people in the audience began wiping tears almost immediately. Her voice trembled, not from fear, but from emotion, like she was channeling something deep and unspoken. By the time she reached, "Tell me something, boy," her voice strengthened. The vibrato in her small throat shimmered like light on water. Heidi covered her mouth. Sophia whispered, "Oh my God." Then came the moment. The chorus. She inhaled deeply, her chest rising, her eyes glistening. I'm off the deep end. The note burst from her like a tidal wave, crystal clear, impossibly powerful, shaking the walls of the theater. The audience gasped collectively. Simon's jaw actually dropped open. The strength of her voice didn't match her size. It didn't match her age. It didn't match anything anyone expected. It was explosive, soaring, filled with aching emotion. She delivered the run perfectly, flawlessly, like she had lived the meaning of the lyrics. Her mom watched from backstage, sobbing uncontrollably. When she hit the high belt on, "I'll never meet the ground," the audience rose to their feet. All at once, every single person. The judges were frozen, even Simon. The little girl kept singing as though her voice was climbing a mountain, each word more powerful than the last. She wasn't just performing, she was breaking herself open. She sang like she had something to prove to the world, to her absent father, to herself. On the final, in the SHAAAAALLOW, she didn't just end the song. She conquered it. Silence hit the room for one impossible second. Then the theater exploded. People screamed, cheered, cried, stomped, applauded so loudly the stage floor vibrated. It felt like the entire building shook. Althea stood there trembling, unsure whether to cry or smile or faint. She looked at Simon Cowell. He didn't move, he didn't talk, he didn't blink, he simply stared at her as though she had rewritten the rules of reality. Then he whispered into his mic. Unbelievable. It echoed across the theater. He leaned forward. Althea, you just delivered one of the most emotional versions of Shallow I have ever heard. And you're 9. The crowd roared again. Howie looked speechless. You are a miracle, he said. Sophia shook her head, wiping tears. You don't understand what you just did. That was not normal. That was greatness. Heidi leaned closer. Who taught you how to sing like that? Althea swallowed. I watched videos online, and my mom helped me. Simon nodded slowly. I knew you were going to be good because you said something backstage. You told the producer, I'm small, but my heart isn't. And that was the most accurate sentence you could have ever said. Althea felt tears gather in her eyes. She held them back. Then Simon stood. The audience screamed. He walked toward the golden buzzer. Her breath caught. Her knees almost buckled. Simon placed his hand over the button. He stared at her, his expression gentle but intense. You didn't just sing that song, he said. You lived it, and I think the whole world needs to hear you. Then, he pressed the golden buzzer. The explosion of confetti rained down. The audience roared louder than ever. Althea's mother burst onto the stage, grabbing her daughter as both of them cried uncontrollably. Simon walked up and hugged them both, something he rarely did. You are special, he whispered to her. Don't ever forget that. Althea sobbed into his jacket. The moment went viral worldwide. Within 24 hours, her golden buzzer clip hit 50 million views. Celebrities shared it. Lady Gaga herself reposted it, writing, "This little girl just gave Shallow a whole new soul." Her life changed overnight. Interviews, TV appearances, invitations to perform at events, everything happened so fast she felt like she was living someone else's story. But the best moment came 3 days after her audition aired. Her mom walked into their hotel room holding a phone with trembling hands. Anik, she whispered, there's someone who wants to talk to you. On the screen was her father. Not perfect, not the man she once imagined him to be. But his eyes were soft, and he was crying. I saw your video, he whispered. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm proud of you. So proud. Althea covered her mouth, collapsing into her mom's arms. She didn't need him to come back. She didn't need old wounds to be fixed. She just needed this. And she got it. Months later, during the AGT finals, Althea sang again, not Shallow, but an original song written for her. She didn't win the season. But she didn't need to. She became a symbol of hope, of heart, of what a child's courage could do. Her voice echoed across arenas, across oceans, across hearts. A little girl from Cebu, with a big voice, who reminded the world that sometimes, the smallest people carry the biggest stories inside them. And when they finally share them, the whole world listens.